Hey, stay safe, please like and subscribe. Click on the Deck Heroes icon, click and subscribe. 100% free. Well, apart from blood in, blood out, all is good. So this is a review, kind of like a revisiting of William Wallace again. But I think it's important to look at him again, and it kind of casts a light on all the other Commander reviews, my own and others. So I just finished a 20-minute workout, Kenny, because it casts a light on what that battle calculator is, and it gives clues as to what equipment you should be using. And I give you the clue right now. Say if your commander has 0 boosts to health, or minimal boost to health, or it just boosts defense, which is a factor in your kind of skill damage resistance, or a factor in your, your defense, basically, to summarize. You know what I mean? Your health stats, all that. It's a factor in something else. Then what do? Well, you're going to go for equipment which emphasizes defense. If you could have equipment which emphasizes skill resistance or smite resistance, you'd have it, or health boosts. Some of them do, actually, yeah. Then you'd go for that. You know what I mean? If your commander that you're going to be pairing up with has got his light on it, or you look at who's the secondary commander, and where possible, you would pair him up with somebody who can offer that tankiness. You know what I mean? Admittedly, for my Huan Yu, I pair him up with Scipio. You know what I mean? And I try and balance it out with my equipment on Huan. That's why I keep on going for high defense equipment, and that'll add something. It won't add everything, but it'll add something. That's why I go down those lines. Well, anyway, we're going to look at William Wallace again very quickly. And then I'm going to go into Rise of Kingdoms. I'm going to come out of Facebook into Rise of Kingdoms. There's going to be a little bit of transition, but it's going to be worth it. Just bear with me. So anyway, this is the beginning where we revisit William Wallace. He's an infantry commander with that new smite talent tree. Okay, so the damage that he does, 2,400 to 1 commander. Single damage, is he? But when you add up all the other boosts, it's closer to about 4,000, right? So accept that, right? We can do the maths again another time. We can look at my other videos. Put it all together, about 4,000, right? Okay. Now the 2 additional enemies. So let's not do what I did in my last video and assume that one of those enemies is going to be that initial damaged person, which it will be, but for the sake of argument, let's not. And the reason why is because it's additional 3. 3 times 300 is 900. So you got that base damage of 4,000, and you got the 900, and then we work from there. Okay, we work from there. Okay, I'm gonna go back to Scott's YI in a minute. But anyway, no matter what, actually, let's start on this attack, because attack is a variable in what your smite damage is going to be, right? So it's a variable towards that damage, right? So that's going to be boosted beyond the 4,000. The 2,400, which ultimately becomes something like 4,000, and the 900 is going to be enhanced by this infantry attack boost in the skill Scott's YI. Then we have this Lions of the North. It's maybe, and I probably did easily look past this 10% less normal damage, which I interpret to be more or less, let's say, counter-attack. The damage that you receive in normal is going to be counter-attack damage, right? So that's right. When they're attacking you, that's their counter-attacking, right? All right. So, but that can't be ignored because it helps. It's a contributor. It's something towards tankiness. And when I go back into Rise of Kingdoms and out of Facebook, we'll look at the commanders I'm comparing him against, and see if they do anything at all. And before I do that, normally there's a secondary skill. You know how Huan Yu does silence, Lu Che does some kind of march speed reduction, and Scipio Prime's got some kind of health debuff. It's important to remember that this guy does nothing. So when we do that final calculation, we also have to factor that in, is that he doesn't do any kind of debuff, meaningful debuff to any of those, let alone many of them, right? So anyway, we go back. So we've already calculated that the prime skill is 4,000. Now we're looking at the additional 3 enemies. So it's 900 plus, the attack boost here in Scott's YI. Then we've got this damage increase. And what I'll talk about later is how this gives a clue that if the damage factor is greater than 100, there's an 80% chance that the damage will be increased, which has to infer that it's got to be based on the number of troops that you have. And there's a point where your damage, even given all the boosts from all the sources, is less than 1,000. You know what I mean? So if we add in a 40% boost to that 900, it's going to be something close to, say, 1,300 for the sake of argument. Well, no. What's about 1250? 1250. And then we go into Battle of Stirling Bridge. You get 10% more smite damage. So that's going to be another 90 on that. So it's going to be, let's say, 1350. And then 10% more normal damage, which is a variable. I know it's getting complicated. Normal damage is a variable towards smite damage. So let's just say for 1350, you get another, say, 50. You know what I mean? 10% and on the 900, let's say get another 50. So that's 1,400. Okay, so that means that in total, 4,000 plus 1,400, 5,400. Essentially, he's doing mainly to one target, but also to the others. If you factor in the overall damage, 5,400 damage, so that's actually a lot. Again, remember that he's not doing silence, he's not doing any kind of health reduction, he's not doing any of that kind of stuff at all. But in terms of only damage, not too bad. So he's in the middle. And in terms of his tankiness though, one thing I did overlook before was most of the commanders, when I go into Rise of Kingdoms again, have a quick scan through those commanders, they don't do any kind of health boost at all. Juan's got no health boost. At least this guy has got that 10% health boost. 10% less normal damage, aka likely to be counter-attack damage, you know, it's tiny, but we'll take it. It's every other second. You know what I mean? So it's tiny, but every other second it's going to add up. Make it slightly more tanky. And again, your equipment can boost your defense stats. So when you're choosing what equipment you're going to choose, you're going to use, you go something which, if you had a choice between two, you'll boost the defense or the health where possible. That's what I'm thinking. This mighty shield, when I first read it, I'm thinking that's some token thing, barely worth expertise in. But as I say, it gives you that little bit more than what others do. So, of course, you'll take it. And there's some skills which are boosted by having a shield. You know what I mean? So, it's not to be ignored. It's about who you pair him up with. And I say on this talent tree, one of the most useful skills here, with me, is that number 3, Fight or Flight, where whenever this commander's troop deals any type of smite damage, and there's loads of different forms of smite damage that they do deal, all troops hit by this damage lose 45 rate. That's a lot. That's a lot. Let's look at the instances where he's going to deal smite damage and see if that is likely to happen. Okay, so you've got obviously damage to the initial person, the smite damage to the additional 3 people, which is likely to be an additional 2 people, but that's 3 people getting a 45 rage debuff right there. Whenever you do 80% chance, whenever you do the more than 1,000 damage, that's going to be a debuff then again. So that's likely to be the same time, to be fair. So let's say 3 people and they get that 45 rage debuff. Okay, that's it then. Whenever there's an active skill, that's the time when that's going to trigger. Okay, so it's not going to be overused. But what I'm thinking now is, if you pair him up with another smite damage commander, obviously their skill is going to trigger at a different time, and it's going to be fed through that initial commander's tree. That means they're going to get a lot more. Okay, let's come out of Facebook and go into the Rise of. Interesting. So one of the first things I'm going to look at is, do any of the commanders have any kind of health? or defense buff, and I know some of them do. I'm going to look at the additional skill like the silence, which William Wallace doesn't have. And then I'm going to look at the Luces and possibly the Gorgos and look at when does their skill trigger and is there any additional smite damage which will feed into that tree. So hopefully I can remember those three. In fact, let's do that last one first because I'll forget. Bit forgetful. Okay, so here we go. So he does that kind of march speed reduction. Does his smite damage. March speed reduction for me is meaningless. He's equivalent of William Wallace. William Wallace doesn't do anything like march speed, silence, health debuff at all. You know what I mean on that active skill. But march speed reduction is pointless as well on an infantry person in my point of view. Defense bonus here 20%, so he doesn't have the health bonus. Health for me is more useful than defense. That's what's been drilled into my brain. Obviously we don't know that formula, but 20% defense bonus. He does have a 20% skill damage reduction. He's got that attack bonus, smite damage factor. Whenever you do a basic attack, it's a 25% chance to deal extra smite damage. So basically what I'm saying is that extra smite damage would also do a 45 rage debuff if it's not at the same time as an active skill is triggering. If it's paired up with William Wallace. Interesting. 10% more normal damage. Whenever the troop deals smite damage, it deals 10% less damage. The target deals 10% less damage for the next 3 seconds. Oh. So smite damage is going to be to all 5 commanders. 5 enemy troops that it touches. Okay, and the chance to launch 1 extra combo attack. So again, say if you're pairing him up with William Wallace, that extra combo attack may well have that 45 range debuff on whoever's touched, which is going to be 5 commanders, which is, by my own definition, new meta. Anything which prevents their active skill triggering. So that's interesting. So you just thinking it through. So if you paired it up with him, if you paired William up with Luce, then you get that rage debuff from that part of the tree, so that would be an essential, the part of the tree which has that 45 rage debuff. William's got 10% health. What was that now? The counter attack, less counter attack, and he's got the shield. Luce's got defense bonus. And he's got that debuff of damage reduction. Just looking at it again. Yeah, there's nothing in that active skill which says that. There's nothing for Luce that says he can't be a secondary commander. So you'd have William, because obviously you need his tree, and then you'd have Luce, and he would be one of those. So normally there'd be my AOE in the back. It would be William in the back with Luce, just getting people out there like that area effect damage all on one commander, and then Luce to do whatever he does. So interesting. I'm just thinking through my anyway, just quickly look at okay, let's go for Gorgo quickly because I will forget. Gorgo is looking more and more useful right now. I wish I had her at some kind of decent level, and I've obviously gone past her. Where is she? I'm thinking, oh my gosh, do I not recognise her? I must have gone past her. And I apologise for my better die. I know it's not her. There she is. And you can see how much I've got. Not a lot. Anyways, yeah. Really looking at the health and how often the smite damage triggers. The next 1 second, extra smite damage. Normal damage takes less. It's quite complicated, isn't it, really? Normal damage bonus, and normal damage will be a factor in the smite damage. So, you know, the whole kind of damage calculator is so much more complicated than I ever thought for all of them, but especially for these smite damage commanders, because I say smite damage is a factor of normal damage and your attack and possibly the number of troops and other things possibly that haven't come to mind. And things on your accessories, obviously, things like that. Okay, 20% attack. Okay, garrison commander, that's not going to apply. It's not going to apply. Whenever this troop deals smite damage, it deals 10% more, 15% more normal damage, or up to 30% more normal damage for the next 5 seconds. Okay. If it has less than 50% troops remaining, launches a basic attack. Whenever it launches a basic attack or counter attack, it's a 10% chance to gain a shield or reduce the attack. Right, I've passed that health, haven't I? Yeah, there it is, 30%. So in some ways I'm thinking, okay, so William Wallace's 10% health plus the shield plus that counter attack reduction plus Gorgo's health would have that tankiness. So it's essentially a 40% health bonus plus the shield plus the counter attack. Not bad. But again, if I did William and Luce, then you got the 10% health from William, and saying the shield and the counter attack, and Luce's got nothing, but is just more likely to keep triggering smite damage more often, which means that you do that 45 rage debuff to 5 enemies more often, which is that kind of new meta. Wow. So do you want, he's got a hidden, if you pair him up with Luce, there's a hidden 45 rage debuff which is going to trigger relatively often. For example, whenever Luce's skill triggers, and especially if it launched 1 extra combo attack. Is it the one? It's just 2 seconds. My brain is. Here we go. Combo attack. Extra attacks triggered by basic attacks. Combo attack damage and increased by bonuses to combo attack. Oh, okay, don't worry about it. It's just 1 extra attack. So you do a cap. Instead of just doing your normal attack, you do an additional attack. They call it combo attack. They could have just said additional attack. There you go. Just let me just quickly skim through this again. I will not. Need some kind of elevator music while I quickly read. The benefit of Luce over Gorgo, obviously, is Gorgo is a garrison commander, so you don't lose anything in that, but you definitely do gain in that health. And again, as I said, if you kind of emphasize your defensive equipment, then it could to an extent balance that out. And this is what I was thinking. It says whenever your troop launches a basic attack, it is a 25% chance to deal extra smite damage. No, it's still that 1 attack though, isn't it? It's not an additional attack, it's just more to the same attack. I'm just thinking how often you'll get that 45 rage debuff. Anyway, so I think I've covered that. I think I've made a mistake earlier on in the video and I've kind of hopefully clarified it. Clear as mud. Right, so let's look at the comparison for the other commanders quickly in terms of, well, do they offer any kind of health or defense buff? And I'm pretty sure Huan Yu does not, but he does have that silence, which is just wow. So that's a no. Attack reduction, but that's not really what I'm talking about. Attack bonus, healing factor. There's a healing factor, but no, that's not what I'm talking about. Additional damage, it's all attack. That's why you got to have more defense in the equipment you choose for Huan Yu particularly. Let's look at ZL, Zhug Liongos. And again, troops hit by the skill deal 15% less damage. That's not what, William doesn't do any of that. But says that only that one thing in his tree where he does actually give that rage debuff. Again, just imprint it in my brain and others. Why he's still a 5 out of 5 commander. Him being William. Obviously, said Elias. Obviously. Anyway, so we've got this, yeah, 15% damage reduction. What would you rather? Let's think this through again. Why I was initially adding misgivings for William. Would you rather that the 5 enemy troops hit by this skill, have 15% less deal, 15% less damage, well, skill damage, no damage, or would you rather have everything that William offers? He's doing area effect damage to 5 commanders, and he's got this skill debuff. 15%. Wow. So if that we're talking about William, if William's not doing his 5,000 damage, he's doing something. Well, still 5,000. What is it? 5,100, whatever. It's more like 4,000, 4,500. As long as he's up against the ZL, and ZL's got that natural bonus against infantry. Wow. But they're both impressive. Anyway, let's move on. I'll be here all day. Archer units gain 30% health. There he does, actually. Yeah, but they need it. They need the archers need it. And in fact, talking about equipment from earlier, I would still have some kind of defense boost over an attack boost to ZL where possible. So if you're choosing between two, where you can, yeah, anything that boosts defense and health will be crazy useful for ZL. But anyway, it's interesting. He's got 30% boost. Wow. It's got a damage bonus, but I'm looking at defense bonuses. Attack bonus. Okay. Just a second. Skill damage bonus. Yeah, attack bonus. Sorry. Damage bonus. Yeah, we know about all of that. We got a self buff right there. I did touch, or was thinking about whether William of Wallace would replace either both. You know, whoever you pair William up with is going to replace my buffer debuffer. I don't know if it can. You know what I mean? Whether it replaces Trajan or whether it replaces Mulan in the current meta, or not at all. So let's have a quick look. 30% more skill damage. 55, or basically you and 5 others, which means everybody in your team. 30% more skill damage and gain 50 rage per second for 3 seconds. Woof. It's got the defense and health. But basically what I'm thinking is, would you have Trajan first, William as secondary? They can't, because William is first and Trajan secondary. Just so you can get the health bonus is what I'm thinking, and just so you can get all these bonuses. I know it sounds stupid as well. I'm just thinking about replacing Trajan in my 5 armies. When you look at those other videos I've done about the top 10 commanders in KVK and what armies they've got, is there a reason to replace either Trajan and Mulan? Because I'm saying it thinking I'm saying stupid stuff. But the reason why I'm even mentioning it about who I'm going to replace is because I'm thinking about trying to squeeze in William, because he's just come out 2 days ago. Okay. So yeah, 20% health. I don't know if that's enough really, because he's got this where it says, however, this commander's troop also takes 25% more damage. Oh, yuck. In some ways, on the map, I'm just thinking now kind of more KVK or PvP, player versus player. If Trajan was primary and you got William secondary, William is hidden. He might not think to take Trajan out. He'll be focused on the ZLs and the Huan Yus, and all the while Trajan is doing his buffing, and also you got William just wiping people out, doing 5,000 damage constantly. He's like, wow, and he's got his shield, which is going to help keep peeps alive, interesting. Just anyway, we'll see what happens. There'll be a lot more interesting combinations now that William is coming to the party. 10% unit capacity boost, and now we know that William's skill, one of those secondary skills, is triggered by the amount of damage that you do, which is likely to be triggered by the amount of troops that you've got. Well, you've got 10% more troops. Got this direct damage factor, increases damage to the current target by 20% for 3 seconds. That is so good. Gosh, man, I'm thinking Mulan, but I know Mulan's got some hidden talents as well. Anyway, in terms of what I was looking for, whether it actually boosts health and that type of thing, Yeah. Well, he kind of does. He giveth the health and the defense, and then he taketh away, doesn't he? 25% more damage. Let's move on. I'm going to skip past all the commanders I'm never going to use. This is a garrison, obviously. Let's have a quickly look at Constantine. Target loses 40% attack. Oh, that's interesting. For these, you know what I mean? It's kind of like garbage now. I do remember early days. I've been playing this game for too many years, and that 40% attack would have been half decent, like half decent. But now with this kind of smite damage commanders coming in, 40% attack reduction. So where it's just out and out smite damage, it won't have an impact. But for anything which contributes towards that, the 40% reduction in attack will take away that. Will, something close to 40% maybe. For up to 5 allied troops, basically your whole squad who happen to be smite will be touched by that if you're using Juan Constantine. 40% health, that's the main reason, or one of the main reasons that we're back garrison. And this is what keeps him alive. Whenever it gains a shield, 40% less damage for the next 3 seconds. And we know that our man William grants a shield. So William and Constantine, when William's got his 40% health, well, Constantine gives him another. William's got his 10% health, well, Constantine gives him another 40 on top of that. He benefits from 40% less skill damage if he gets a shield, knowing that William's going to grant him a shield during that time. Wow. So you get 1,000 on the shield, 40% less damage. Ooh, William and Constantine all day. And that basically narrows it down. Whew. And whatever else is in the museum about what boosts Constantine. I'll have to go to that now before I forget. William Constantine, beautiful. Oh, whoa. And Luce Gorgo. More attack and more defense. Attack will go to, obviously, a variable towards your smite damage, and defense just adds to your tankiness. Right, just going to quickly just dip out. Quick. Go to the museum. And I'm waiting for that Huan Yu boost. Huan Yu boost. Oh man, I'm a convert. Definite convert to William, and I'm excited about what I'm going to do with him. Infantry attack and more normal damage. Normal damage being a contributor towards that smite damage calculation. I thought that Constantine in this, and also the attack, both normal damage and attack contribute towards what the smite damage is ultimately going to be. In my mind, I thought that Constantine had something else which boosted health or defense. It wasn't. It was attack and normal damage, but still good. Whoa, Constantine and William, can't wait. Okay, just before I go back into the commanders, I need to touch on my man here, like the number one guy. This is what you should be aiming towards, really. So you got your Huan Yu Scipio, out and out damage. There's no health buff in there. ZL and Herman Prime. We've looked at ZL. ZL does come with a health boost. We haven't gone on to Herman yet. Luce and Constantine. Oh man, say if that was William and Constantine. And then you got your, what's he called again? The Cav guy. Anyway, the Cav guy and John Prime. I can't forget his name. But essentially, would William replace? Oh my gosh, Trajan and or Mulan. I like it. Anyway, listen, I'm not saying I'm definitely going to do it. But it's definitely of interest. Where was I up to? I think I was just on Constantine, didn't I? Alright, so I'm going to try and speed up. How long is this video? Bloody half an hour. Hopefully you find it useful. Okay, so the 3 troops lose 30% health for 3 seconds. Okay, let's quickly move on. Attack bonus. Infantry health bonus of 20%. See, that's what we talk about. That's why Scipio's one of the best commanders in the game. In addition to that health reduction, again, William does nothing like that. It's just that tree. Wow. And the tree hints to new meta. Oh, it does grant a shield. When that shield touches which one is it? Oh, I'm getting fatigued. Oh gosh, is it Jump Prime? I'm losing try. I'm gonna have to end the video because I'm getting a little bit tired. I need my nap. And quickly Herman Prime. He's a very health boost. Defense bonus, attack bonus. Defense is there in addition to ZL, gives that out and out health bonus. Got his defense reduction and damage bonus. Yeah, he's light on health, isn't he? So it's kind of glass cannon-y, sort of, but still awesome. I might just leave it there because my brain is tired. Just finish off with Jump Prime. Attack bonus, smart speed bonus, normal damage bonus. Health bonus, is the Tolkien health bonus again, 10%. Yeah, 10%, man. Yeah, she definitely needs. That's why you got to pair her up with. She's invaluable, but she needs that help in equipment and also Nevsky. In addition to everything else he does, 20% Cav health bonus. And something else as well, isn't it? And a defense bonus of 20% as well. And damage reduction of 5%. I said, I know he does other stuff, but yeah, I'm going to leave it there anyway. Hopefully you found that useful. I say this new insights from William into, when it talks about active skill damage, most likely affected by the number of troops that you've got. Think about the equipment that you're going to use in terms of like the damage, the defense and the health. If they don't have it anywhere else, you've got to give it to them. Otherwise, it's just less tanky. You've got to think about who you pair them up with. Please like, subscribe. That's Stephen. I'm out.